Okay, we're back. Now we have large quantities of black dye because of the production facilities. You're going to get a smaller quantity, but there's still enough dye in here to do 3-4 holsters. You can repair some shoes, whatever you need to do with the extra. So making sure that this is dry. Again, it's water-based dye, but it really holds up better with a dry holster. You'll have a better finish. So now, again, this is not something that you want to do on the dining room table, unless, of course, you're looking for some bachelorhood or some unmarried life. So, no rules. This is the really fun part, though, man. After you've done all this, you actually get to monkey around. Don't worry about smudges. It's all good. It all comes out in the wash, so to speak. So generally what I like to do is the inside first. You could do the outside first. It's just me. So I'll do the inside, and I'm going to do a light coat. It doesn't have to be heavy, just a light coat. Okay, you get the idea, right? And I'll let that dry. And that usually, it's a really fast process. It really only takes maybe 20 minutes. The heavier you put the coat, the longer it's going to take to dry. Now you'll know it's dry because the shine is gone, much like the cased leather. The shine is gone, it's been absorbed into the leather. And then you can put on a second coat, and you can put on a third coat. Now the number of coats is not going to change the luster of the finished product, okay? All that's going to do is it's going to saturate deeper into the leather, so that if by chance you happen to rub up against something, scratch it, there's a chance that that dye has gone in deep enough that you won't see that scratch. And even if you do, you can, if you have some dye left over, you can touch that up like shoe polish. You know, it's just like any other leather holster. Of course, I'm making a hell of a mess out of that. But, so anyway, 2 coats usually is what I find works out really good. All right, again, just to speed up the process, we've already done that. So we've got a holster now that has been dyed in and out, a couple coats. I'm going to buff it up a little bit. You're not going to get much of a shine at this point in time. You have to wait to the finish part, and we provide you with the finish as well. So again, I'm going to make sure nothing's changed. Now I'm still happy with that, so I'll leave that alone for a minute. I may snug it up just a little bit. Now remember, the bottom part is supposed to remain flexible. That's why we can put all kinds of stuff in it. Some people, anyway, so yep, I like it, it's fitting good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply the finish. Now once you do this, this holster is pretty much there. You can still manipulate it, you can still get it sopping wet, but it's just going to be a lot less friendly about changing it once you've gotten to this point. And still fits multiple weapons. Now again, this is an XDS. Guess what? It's not designed for this holster. XDS is much thinner. There are a lot of those single stack guns that have become so popular, small mini ones. So you don't worry about this part. This is supposed to remain flexible. The weapon is actually held up in here, up in the slide. So that's the part that you want to make sure. All the rest of this will actually get even tighter with time. But this is a custom fit process. Okay, now, looks like I forgot to stain. Be right back. Again, we work with large quantities of finish as we do with the stain. You're going to end up with a smaller bottle, but still enough to do the many holsters. So, again, as before, I'm going to use a dauber, and I'm going to first do the inside. Now you're going to see that this is going to have white puddles of finish. Now, that doesn't matter, but if you leave that too thick, if you put it on too thick, you'll end up with splotches. So, you just rub it. Don't saturate the dauber. And then when in doubt, put it on, give it a second or two, and then run a rag through it to pick up the excess. Now this is one of the processes that will result in a luster on your holster. Now this is, we send you typically kind of a semi-gloss, and that is because it gives you a nice finish, but still, this is a concealed holster. I don't really want a neon holster under my shirt, and probably you don't either. Now there again, if you put it on light enough, you see how it's got that shine, it's going to start to dull up a little bit as it starts to dry. Now, you can speed up the process, splotch it, don't wipe it off. Doesn't make sense to put it on and put it back off, take it back off. That will happen. Alright, so, anyway, there again, this, depending on how heavily you put that on there, that could take, half an hour for it to dry. It's really going to be a couple hours before it's totally dry. Now between coats, you can let it dry, buff it up, and put on another coat. But you gotta let it dry between coats, or else you're just putting a lot of effort into a process and just wiping it right back off. So let that dry, and within a very short period of time, you're going to have a very nice holster.